Hello and welcome to the PCTA podcast. I'm your host, Nyanza.
And I'm Amber. Today we're interviewing Kevin. He is our new tech guy here at PCTA. Pretty sure you stay up in the library, right?
Yes, currently, yeah.
We for sure need to get you guys like a room to do your techie things in.
Technically, there is an office in the basement, but it's like windowless and kind of scary, so I don't really want to hang out down there.
The basement is scary. Why would they put you in the basement?
That's
so far. I guess I shall be. Well, tell us a little about yourself, Kevin.
Yeah, my name's Kevin Giggler. I'm the new creative tech specialist is my official title here at PCTA. I've been working in IT for about 3 years. And not native to Rhode Island, I actually moved here for my last job at Roger Williams University doing AV stuff there. And before that, I worked at University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, where I went to school and lived for about 6 years.
So where were you born?
I was born Allentown, Pennsylvania, is what I tell people, but it was like suburbs of Allentown, a town that no one has ever heard of. So I just say Allentown. Yeah.
Okay. Well, is that what brought you here, or like what?
Yeah. Well, I started working at University of Penn January of 2020, and then COVID happened really serious, and I wanted to get out of Philadelphia anyway. I wanted like a change of scenery, so I found that the position that I'm working in the world of IT, basically any school needs that person anywhere in the U.S. So I started applying really all over the country, and then eventually sort of focused more on the East Coast because it was a little more practical. And Roger Williams gave me an offer about 2 months before my lease was up. So I said, I guess I'm moving to Rhode Island. But then I eventually visited Providence and really liked it. So that's why I ended up here.
So like, was IT the first thing you wanted to do? Did you have any other dreams before that?
No, I didn't go to school for like computer science or anything like that, or like any IT stuff. I went to school for basically audio production. I am a musician in my free time, so I was going to school for that, but also general like media production stuff. And I originally wanted to work. Well, I started working in AV, which is more like setting up for events and stuff. And after a while, when COVID happened, my job in AV sort of switched to IT because nothing was happening in real life anymore. So it gave me a good experience in both. And the position here, I kind of feels like melds those two worlds really well.
Very. Like, PCTA is so like full of, I don't want to say talent. Like, I'm not bashing PCTA. I don't want to, because everybody's talented. Kinda, but right. I feel like you do have a lot of good opportunities here at PCTA. Yeah. Not only like for you, but for me, but
especially
for our
with
camera
it being
people.
A technical school.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that most schools don't have that we do that you can do out in the world, and it prepares you very well for when we do leave. Yeah,
I kind of wish I had a lot of the opportunities that like the upperclassmen at the school have for like hands-on work. Like I feel like I didn't have really any of that when I went to a public school. Yeah. So I didn't have any of that kind of like hands-on work that I'm working with the P-Tech kids, and I'm just seeing them do stuff that I have been doing at my job for like years now. So it's interesting.
Yeah, shout out to the P-Tech kids.
Yeah, we love the P-Tech kids.
All the way in the basement.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
But they didn't always used to be in the basement.
Back when we were in 9th grade, they were the new thing.
Yeah.
They were great, and graphics was not great.
Yeah. Like, man.
That's what they thought.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, can we take this time to talk about our sponsor message? Oh, wow, that is very loud. I'm so sorry. Okay. This episode of the PCTA podcast is sponsored by PCTA Graphics. Our graphics department is available for all of your graphics design and print needs. Please stop by H207 for pricing to see how the graphic design services can help promote your brand. Okay, because that is loud.
Very. Here, let me just. I want to ask a question, mostly to do with like us as students.
Sure.
Like, do you think we're cool? Like,
yeah, I think you guys are cool.
I'm like, that was a weird question.
No, it's I've had a good experience. Because my last job, I didn't work as much with the students, even at a college. Like I occasionally worked with the students, but now that I'm in kind of like a supervisor role in a lot of ways, like I'm really getting to know a lot of the P-Tech kids, and everyone's been very nice. Yeah.
Shout out to
Yes,
the P-Tech kids
we
again.
love the P-Tech kids.
Go away.
Yes, all 12th graders. They're great.
No, don't shout them out. Not on this podcast. Not on this Christian podcast.
Christian podcast.
Christian podcast.
I'm so dead. All right. So, what did you originally study in?
My major, I studied at Temple University in Philadelphia. My major was media studies and production with a focus in audio production. I did a lot of, honestly, what you guys are working on in a lot of ways at first. And what Temple has is the ability to, you can do either the audio focus or the video focus, which is after your sophomore year, you can take more specialized classes in either video production or audio production. And I opted for the audio production track. But starting off, it gave me a good breadth of like both. I did some like video production stuff as well, so I have experience in that. But yeah, that's what I ended up doing.
Do you feel that if every kid had an opportunity to do what we do, like in PCTA, to pick any career, do you think that would benefit us better, like our future?
Honestly,
do you think it would have benefited you better?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I mean, the public school that I went to, in a lot of ways, you guys are so extremely focused on like what it is you're going to school for. Even now, like public school, it's like you're kind of just going through. Maybe you'll take like an elective class that's like video production or photography or whatever. But if that's what you're doing all day, more or less, then I think that ultimately prepares you for a career right out of high school for a lot of people, or, you know, going to college and then entering the headspace of like, I'm working on this all the time. I think that's like super beneficial.
Yeah, the school's very diverse.
I mean, yeah, because we have internships and, you know, we actually work for people and we actually do things. And I just feel like that would benefit a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You know, and then there's people, like a friend of mine who's out working on cars and he's in automotive.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people doing internships to help benefit them in what they're already doing for their tech in general.
Yeah.
I have another friend working in culinary, making stuff, and they're also in culinary. So although you don't have to have an internship that's based on your tech, you can do other things, which is even better because you can take a regular job you had and make that an internship and get like a freebie so you don't have to do your 10-page essay. Yeah. It's very good.
shortcuts to life.
Okay. So what made you want to even work with students?
It's a good question. I don't think I necessarily, initially, I didn't really work with students until about halfway through, you know, working in IT for the last 3 years, you know, working originally at University of Penn. I didn't work with any students, even before things went completely remote. And then coming to Roger Williams, the experience started opening up because I was working at what they call their media tech desk, which is like their front-facing IT help desk, which we have work study students for. So that was my first experience working with students and sort of supervising. And I found it really rewarding. And I felt, I found it helpful to like, because a lot of these kids, honestly, and I feel it here too, some of these kids know more than I do at the end of the day. I'm like learning stuff from them that I didn't know. So I always found that really interesting, and it helped me get better at my job. And yeah, I always just appreciated doing that.
Yeah, it's like a joint effort.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like students teaching teachers, teachers teaching students.
Yeah.
That tends to happen a lot. A lot of teachers actually talk about that, about how we tend to teach the teachers on certain subjects and things.
Yeah.
And that they think it's pretty cool. And
It gives like everyone an opportunity to learn things.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could never stop learning. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no matter how old you get, you can never stop learning.
right.
Well, what do you have planned for the future? What you seeing ahead?
I'm eventually I'm gonna keep working here. That's that's the first plan. And then I think eventually, you know, I like the idea of being in sort of a supervisor role. Maybe that's eventually the plan. And of course, you know, within IT, there's all kinds of different specific avenues to like learn more stuff in like networking and desktop support and things like that. So I've been thinking about that as well, but just to keep learning.
Keep it pushing.
Yep.
Keep learning. Wish I had that goal. I would have graduated. I don't even want to go to college half the time. How about we talk about that? Why should I go to college? That's a good topic.
That is a good topic, and it is a tough question because a lot of people will say that you may not need to go to college depending on what you're doing. But
I'm not going.
I think a lot of the experience comes from the relationships that you can make at college because you're kind of forced into socialization of some sort because you're surrounded by all these people. You're kind of confined into these spaces where you're forced to interact with people, which will grow your social abilities as a person. But then also, if you're working with people who are in your major working towards the same goal, you can create working relationships that way. And you can also make those relationships with professors, and a lot of those professors will have opportunities outside of the school. I think that's a lot of what I took away from college was making sure, or something honestly that I wish I did more of in college, was networking and making connections and things like that. Because that's another big thing that colleges do is provide connections in a lot of ways, and having a university behind you that say like, I went here, and people sort of like respect that for whatever reason. But yeah, that's the main thing that I wish I sort of did more of in college. So I think that's a good takeaway for why college is helpful.
Of course. Yeah, don't look like that, Nyenza. I see you looking all sour.
Okay, Amber.
No, I'm just saying because, my mom said to me that sometimes college isn't for certain people.
Yeah.
But you should go because you never know. Because you could take something from it, and next thing you know, you're running your own business.
Sure.
Nah.
If anything, you'll make great friends. I have
great
some of my
friends.
best friends are from college. So
I'm too antisocial for any more people. I have my small group, and I will keep to that small group.
it's fair. It's fair.
Understandable, Nyanza, I guess. You got the pros and the cons? What's some cons about college? Besides them taking your money.
Yeah.
Social interaction.
But that's a pro.
No.
That's okay.
Not
so
for me.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. Not for me. Okay, Amber.
Thanks. Whew. All right. Let's see. Technology, computers. Oh man, I'm not a P-Tech kid. Just thinking about technology just is like, ugh. But it's not bad. I mean, as graphic students, we work with technology.
Sure. Yeah.
We're learning how to code now.
Oh wow.
So I guess we're not too far off from B-Tech kids. It's just that they build computers and code
And we
stuff like
design
that.
stuff.
Yeah. There's definitely crossovers, certain areas, but sort of see two different worlds that occasionally will cross over.
Yeah, one of our P-Tech kid friends actually came in the class Monday, I think it was. And we were talking about how we were doing his thing and we were coding. And he kind of just looked at the screen and he said, yeah, but that's not what we're working on. We're doing something more professional. And I'm just like, okay, you.
Not on this holy podcast.
You, person.
Don't be saying no names.
You gotta start somewhere. So eventually, I haven't gotten into coding personally. Everyone that I know who tried coding in college was like, it's crazy. It's so difficult. And I just haven't had the time to sit down and really learn it.
Man, I know my mom always says it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because when she went back into it, she was like, oh gosh, I failed my test. She was like, I completely forgot how to do this stuff. I was like, oh
Yeah,
gosh.
well, I know it's constantly changing too. The different coding languages are constantly evolving. So you have to be up on and doing it constantly to consistently be good at it.
That sounds like too much school. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kevin. And once again, you are listening to the PCTA podcast. Okay, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes.
All right. Keep an eye out for your next episode coming to you soon.